State Demographer's Office. I'm the State Demographer.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, thank you, Jim. Anne and Martin.
Hello, I'm Ann Martin. I'm from STAR at Pima Community College.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining. Anthony Batchelor.
Yes, Anthony Batchelder, Pima County Finance and Risk Management Department.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. And Dylan Perry. Oh yeah, I think Dylan has a little bit audio issue maybe, and so maybe just let me know or just a text. And if you have any just a technical issue, maybe just the PAC team can just help. And Elisa.
Good morning, Elisa Hamblin, Zoning Administrator with the City of Tucson.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining. And Melanie.
Good morning, Melanie Sims, Principal Planner with the Town of Oro Valley.
Yeah, thank you. And Camila. Pamela, you there?
Sorry, I didn't hear my name. Pamela Keene from Tucson Unified School District.
Thank you. And Samantha.
Hi, Samantha Denning from Pima County Development Services.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining. And Scott Layden.
Hi, Scott Radden, Town of Miranda. Steve Cheslack, obviously retired, so I'm just filling in for him right now until we get another planning manager.
Yes, so you're our just the rep and for just the Town of Miranda. Yeah, thank you for joining, and also just thank you for serving as a representative of Town of Miranda. And Tara.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Tara.
I'm Tara Salamone, Senior Demographer from the State Demographer's Office.
Okay, great. Thank you. And the PEC side. And then let me get there. Caroline.
Caroline from PAC, data science team, working with Henshu.
Okay, thank you. And Eric.
Eric Kramer, Senior Land Use Data Scientist at PAC.
And Hannah.
Hi, good morning, Hannah, Planning Coordinator at PAG.
Thank you. And Xiao.
My name is Xiao Li. I'm the Senior Transportation Data Scientist working with the activity-based model.
Thank you. And looks like we have all. Is there anyone just I missed? Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, thank you. And all, like just next agenda item in kind form. Regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAC collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and the federal dollars. If you are paid with the federal dollars, please let us know now. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAC staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and the meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in this meeting. Time spent working on PAC RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching fund. Thank you. And next agenda item. So 2055 map development update. Let me get a control. So thank you. So 2055 map development update, and we actually just kicked off our just effort in the modeling side, and as well as like just the planning side. And Hannah is mainly taking care of those in the project list update. And so we are actually going to use all those are updated in the project list. So this is the overall, like just the modeling side update and not just a project list. Especially just the introduction and will be discussed by myself and together with you. And then just a language model update and by Eric Kramer, and the activity-based model update by Xiao Li, and then just the OWL and talk about just the timeline and moving forward. So introduction of 2055 augmented modeling. So we have 3 modeling tools, and the land use model, travel demand model, and the air quality model. So land use model, and we call SAM-R, and first they actually we started with and just the same sub area allocation model, and used the old Windows operation system XP. For this problem, like it is the normal and the use and the XP version. So we developed all just in the R script. So we call that as a SAM-R. And but instead of using like just a polygon layer, and in the original SAM, we use just a point layer instead. So which was actually coded everything in just 2016. And we also just discussed a lot back in 2023 about just our redevelopment module update, and which was mainly developed by and together and in-house, and Eric, and it was coded and all those in just a Python script. So it's actually the first time we want to just try our just developed and redevelopment module for this in the 2055 augmented modeling exercise. And we have just another important just a model and the travel demand model, as you know, and some of them may not know. And we have just a new and the travel demand model, activity-based model, and among other just activity-based models, we are currently just using CT ramp in the version 2. And that's the official just name of the model, and but which is overall in the code as activity-based model. The latest update was made back in 2023. Also, we are doing additional some tests and the scenario test, and plus just some like application tool development using the activity-based model, exploratory tool development. Elisa, do you have any question?
Yeah, sorry. Could you repeat, are these the same models that were used previously, or did you say some of these were different?
So land use model, the SAM-R is the same model, and but travel demand model, and we are first time just using just an activity-based model. So activity-based model is the new product, so which was in the tree-based model, and we've been using, and but now, and we so far just use it for up to just the tip model development, and but activity-based model, this is our first time and use for this exercise.
Thank you.
The air quality model, and we have moves model for EPA's moves model, more likely is maintained by just APA, and which is required for regional air quality conformity effort. So additional just the AP42, and which is mainly for estimating just the PM10 emissions from re-entering the dust produced by vehicles traveling on paved and unpaved roads, especially in just the reheat to PM10 in the attainment area. That's more likely like is the formula, mathematical formula, preparing just all inputs and applying just the formula, and because of those reheat to PM10 on attainment area, the conformity effort. And then here is maybe a little kind of complicated, and but this is the overall, like it's the modeling and the procedure using land use model, travel demand model, air quality model. I just try to just simplify those, and with your and like a collaboration and developing all those just inputs and prepared, also just received from our jurisdiction partners. And thank you so much for the effort and getting all those in the data collection and the effort. So we also have those in the estimated focused year, regional employment and population. And we also went through and together with the AOEO and the sub area and the population projection as well, sub-county, I'm sorry. Also just we collect all those different like just the planning just the data and base year and the forecast year and the information of land use, and also just work together with you and the jurisdictional partners especially, and getting those in the known project and the other sources of data. Plus just for travel demand model also needed in some just the inputs and the base year population employment forecast here as well, and some US student information, and also important and the network and the update. So more likely just in the project list and for this 2055 map. And so Hannah is the main person and updating all those in the project list. Those will be used for our just a travel demand model and the main input. So after developing just the base year and the travel demand model with the existing just the network and the roadway configuration and the transit and the operation, and plus all those in the base year and the socioeconomic data and the population employment in just the MAG. And this is the first time we are using, like say, an activity-based model, as I mentioned. And the MAG is a microscopic zone, and which is much lower, much just higher in the resolution. So currently we have roughly 1,000 in the TAGs, traffic analysis zones, but we use 7,000, so 7 times more. And the granular data and we've been collecting and just splitting into those in the MAZs. And so those are actually main inputs of an activity-based model. And after just having just the model run first year in the base year, and we will just use in the land use model. All those just the inputs from just a known project and other just information land use side, and also the redevelopment. So we assign all those jobs and employment jobs and housing units, and throughout all just the parcels and or just a pseudo level and the parcel. And all those development and will especially like just in forecast year will be and fed back to and the travel demand model as an input of just the next 5 year and the model run. All those is a model run continued, and then just traffic volume and information accessibility. All those are just important another factor in the urban the area like as expansion. Those information could be fed back to just a land use model as another just year input and the forecast. So it will continue until just it and arrives at the final year in the 2055. After then, all those in the outputs in the land use model side, travel demand model side, and we will just develop like a performance measures update, another kind of a module, and as well as a Title VI and Justice 40 analysis. And together, all those just the inputs from just a travel demand model also just will be used for and air quality modeling and those conformity effort. And so finally, those are all just the overall steps and of our just the modeling side. And next, so Eric, and just in case, do you have any questions about our just the model and the modeling, any procedure? I can just answer. Or just feel free to just and ask just later after this and the presentation done, and then I can just answer as well. Then just the land use model update, and Eric Kramer will discuss update.
All right,
Eric?
good morning. So I'm going to summarize the latest updates to our land use model input data since last time. Just as a preface, we changed the base year of the model to 2024. Previously, it was 2023. So the effect of that will be that we won't use the 2025 as model model year for the model. Will start the first iteration of the model will be 2030. But I will be summarizing the input data changes that include the housing unit inventory, the known projects, and the redevelopment model. In addition, we've worked on the updating employment to reflect the base year, and also the forecast was also changed as incorporating the latest employment data we could find. So we'll get into the housing unit inventory. Our base year 2024 housing units. First, we start with the housing unit inventory up to June 2023, which has 400,086,448 units. We updated with the July to December 2023 completions permits. There are 2875 units, but some of those overlap with our known projects. So ultimately, this 2661 units. And then I also incorporated the known projects for base year 2024, which are 2571 units. Some of those include things that we didn't have in our housing unit inventory previously that were built, as in addition to things that we expect that are on track to be completed by 2020 through the end 2024. So our known projects, moving on to known projects. So we did our final revisions to housing and employment phasing by the model run. To the right, you see the employment known projects by model year. And most of it's happening in the early 10 to 15 years. And so we've so the model inputs only include or don't include the Pasquayaki Tribe and Tohono O'odham Nation San Javier District forecast. Those forecasts are outside the model. But starting with industrial known projects through the entire model iteration series, we have 2882 jobs. On the map, you can see the locations of those by model year. In retail, we have 5,447 jobs. And wholesale, 667 jobs. And in the finance, insurance, real estate sector, we have 1,170 jobs. And in service, 29,516 jobs. Public and government, that does not include public schools or charter schools, that is 647 jobs. Now, again, going back to the comparison with the forecasts on top, that first table, and the bottom is the known projects. We see that 83% of the known projects are allocated by 2040 versus 50% of the forecast by 2040. And known projects are about 42% of the total forecast. And then as far as the balancing of the phasing of these projects, we see I made adjustments to some individual projects shifting 5 or 10 years in some cases to help balance the individual sectors. But still, some places we have known projects in any particular year that exceed the forecast, either by the model year or in the phasing, or by the overall sectors, such as the retail and wholesale. You see the entire total there exceeds what the forecast is. In the case of retail, it's 767 jobs. For the issue to resolve this, for phasing issues, the model will take employment from future allocation years and use those to cover that particular instance. With overall sectors such as the retail and wholesale, the model will take employment from the service sector forecast. So that really will have the smallest impact on the overall forecast. And in many cases, there are there are individual employers that can be considered having service in addition to, say, retail, or service in addition to being a wholesale. So it's not too strange to say that you could borrow from the service sector. All right, so let's go moving on. Then we have residential with 41,277 known projects. And then going back to the forecast, we see 45% of the projects are being, of the known projects are being allocated by 2030 versus 22% of the forecast. And then 94% of the known projects are being allocated by 2040 versus 57% of the forecast. And again, overall known projects represent about 49% of the total forecast. And we don't see any, there are a couple places where we need to balance the model year and phasing. So again, we will take from within the jurisdiction specific housing from future years to allocate to any particular model year that needs to be balanced. Moving on to redevelopment model. I'm going to go through the individual sort of tasks that the model has to do. Overall, we need to allocate our industrial or our industry sector forecasts of non-residential and residential redevelopment. So we have on the right, you see the square footage that has been forecast for each sector. And then we need to translate that forecast into jobs and housing units. And we have methods to do that that are based on assumptions or actual statistics from local employment. So first task in this is to select, again, we're working with the city of Tucson because that's really the main area where redevelopment would happen. But our first task is to select parcels from our policy-based geography, which would be the infill incentive district, or land use designations that prioritize redevelopment. And from that, we have 13,050 parcels that we can look at as eligible for redevelopment. And then the next task is to select parcels from that geography, filtering by acreage. We don't want to have redevelopment on anything under 1/8 of an acre. There are many very small parcels or slivers that are generated and that we shouldn't be considering. We also look at the floor area ratio within the range that we're considering, and the year built. We don't want to select recent buildings to redevelop, and also the type, whether residential or non-residential. So for residential, this is the map is showing you residential subset that met the criteria, 554 parcels for the 2030 allocation year. And for non-residential parcels, we have 245. Next task is to calculate the probability of redevelopment by sector from our research-based methodology. There's one methodology for non-residential and one for residential. And then we allocate our forecast units, the square footage translated into jobs and housing in order of probability at the average densities that exceed the existing land use. So in our research, we found that based on 2010 to 2020 analysis of redevelopment, we found that redevelopment for residential happened at 1.7 times the density, and non-residential is 1.25 times the existing density. So for residential parcels, just considering the amount of housing that would be redeveloped in any particular parcel based on the size and also the density of that particular land use designation. If the parcel can accommodate more than 4 housing units, we would give it an average square foot per housing unit about 1,200, more or less like a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. Otherwise, it would be about 1,800 square feet, which would be a single family residential. Non-residential parcels can also allow residential if they have mixed use qualities, or if they allow residential in addition to whatever the sectors there are. So we would allow 1,200 square feet per housing unit in those cases of mixed use. So the allocation is done, and we are selecting parcels, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen at that particular parcel. We will be aggregating all our results to TAZ level geography. So not necessarily picking, parcels, but really should think of it as something within that TAZ is going to be redeveloped at a certain square footage, a certain number of housing units. So, and then considering our issue with the forecast, if any allocation exceeds the control total for any sector, we'll have to adjust that to balance with the forecast. So this is the residential allocation, 257 housing units redeveloped. And then for the non-residential, we have non-residential parcels, we have 437 housing units that are mixed use, and 99 industrial jobs, 290 retail jobs, 35 wholesale, 113 finance, insurance, real estate, and 1,300 in service and public government, 225. That's for the 2030 allocation year. That's all I have.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Eric. And just wonder if you have any questions about the land use side, land use model update. Lisa, you have?
I don't have any questions at this point. I just more have a general comment that when we're looking at this level of data where we're given specific numbers and outputs that we're seeing from the data that's been reviewed, it would be really helpful to be able to see the information before the meeting so that we can come prepared to the meeting with some questions, because it's pretty difficult for me personally to be able just to look at it at the meeting and formulate some questions as to how the information that we've provided or the information that's being gathered by PAG is coming out in the information that's being presented. So if it's at all possible, even if it's a few days in advance, that we could get it coming into these meetings, that would be really helpful to help facilitate a conversation.
Yeah, okay, I get it. And in terms of like a discussion, and those are more likely just based on the or just the internal, like just the one-on-one discussion. And but for the some like just a specific area or just a redevelopment, and maybe I think it's good to like just having another round and a one-on-one discussion before having this in the PopTech meeting. So we will try to just have kind of just another chance to just review those in the items and together with you.
Yeah, and I'm fine doing one-on-one meetings, and I'm sure many of the other jurisdictions are as well. But I think there's probably in some instances where we have similar questions or just want to ask some of the same things about how things work in the models. And we're all pretty different in how our development is happening. So there are specific stuff and items for our jurisdictions, but where there's some commonalities where we might have some of the same questions, it might be beneficial to talk about it all as a group instead of just the one-on-one meetings, because it might just save all of us some effort. So that's just my thoughts at this point.
Yeah, I see. I understand that, and yeah, but the internal kind of a procedure is very tight, and just having those and the numbers, the updates, and the internal discussions, and we do, and the numerous times, and as well as just we need to get the approval from the upper management team, and to discuss in the further detail, and but the reason just that we try to have just a separate channel in the one-on-one meeting is more likely just dealing with and those portions. And so we try to kind of just have and another kind of just a discussion with you, and instead of like just having those and updates and reviewed by the city of Tucson, and actually just it's really just hard for us to kind of convey that and the portion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Elisa. And then we will and if you need any kind of additional discussion, yeah, about this and the update, and we can also just continue, and if there's any kind of just a modification you think are needed, and we can discuss about that and the redevelopment and the other portion. Thank you. And any other questions? Okay. Yeah, great, thank you. And an activity-based model update and the Xiao and ready?
Yeah. Thank you, Eric, for introducing the updates of our land use models. And after Eric updates the base year of our land use model, including the housing units, parcels, and employment data, we also would like to update our activity-based model MAZ level input from 2017, 2018 data to 2023, 2024 data to develop our 2055 RMAP. The input data we would like to update includes the socioeconomic controls, which will be used as a MAZ level control by the population synthesis and the university model of activity-based model to generate synthesized population, households, and students for the activity-based model. We also updated the employment data and the roadway and transit to the most recent ones, so make the model more accurate for the base year. For the socioeconomic controls, we get the parcel level housing unit data and the year of build data from the land use model, and then estimate the population and household together with ACS data and AOEO jurisdiction controls. What we did is we used the ACS vacancy rate to estimate the households, and then use the ACS household size to estimate the population from the housing units data. Then adjust the population at jurisdiction level to match the jurisdiction level estimate. And finally, we aggregate all the parcel data to MAZ level as a activity-based model input. And here we are going to show some MAZ level activity-based model input for you to review. The first one is the housing 2023 household density. So and the population density for the ABM MAZ level input. So from the left map, you can see the major multifamily communities across Pima County, and for the map to the right, we can see higher density for the south of the Tucson city because those households have larger household size, so have higher population density compared with household density. The next one is the households by household income will be, so the left map shows that the low-income households are expected to be found in city of Tucson, especially near the University of Arizona. And from the map to the right, you can see high-income households are expected to be found in urban outskirts and around towns and unincorporated Pima County areas. And this is the ABM MAZ level input with households by household size. For the map to the left, we can see one-person households are expected to be found in the city of Tucson and around University Arizona areas because the students live around those places. And for the map to the right, we can see 7+ person households are expected to be found in South Tucson, south of the city of Tucson, and other unincorporated Pima County area. And these two maps shows the MAZ level input with household by number of workers. So for the map to the left, we can see household with no worker are expected to be found in Green Valley, Oro Valley, and some Pima County areas that has a lot of retired population. And the maps to the right shows households with 3+ workers are expected to be found in city of Tucson, and especially to the southern part of it. And these two maps shows the ABM MAZ level input with population by age. And for the maps to the left, we can found that The population younger than 5 years old are expected to be found in Marana and Sahuarita and the south of Pima County, especially in Marana. There are a lot of young kids over there. And for the maps to the right, we can see the elderly people over 80 years of old are expected to found in Green Valley, Oro Valley, and other Pima County areas, and somewhere in Vail. And this map shows the employment densities as ABM MAZ level input. And we can see the major employment centers such as downtown and the University of Arizona and a lot of shopping centers like Tucson Mall and the Park Place malls and the airport and the Air Force Base. And we are currently still updating the other input data for the activity-based model, including the University of Arizona, Pima Community College, and high school, middle school, elementary school enrollment. And we are updating the dorms, prisons, and nursing homes as group quarters for our input data for the activity-based model. And to calibrate the university model and the airport model for the activity-based model, we also would like to collect the student home and school MAZ and the number of flights for the airport. And that's all for the updates for the activity-based model. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Shao. Then timeline and I just explained shortly about those and the modeling and the procedure and the land use model and the activity-based model. Those two are in the main and like just the two models and in terms of having all those and the feedbacks and the average is the 5 to 10 years and also including and all different just scenario. Usually takes in the day to just have those all outputs of the model run and but those input data development and the different year forecast is also just challenging and as well as just having those outputs and all those and will be kind of just analyzed and separately for QA/QC effort. And this is a kind of just a little bit in the longer process, especially for the scenario development. And one scenario typically takes a day, but with and the other just scenarios and in terms of just the direction we have, there's in the 2055 RMAP. So there will be a more kind of just and a discussion of those scenarios and the updates, and of course just additional like it's a one-on-one meeting and in terms of like just the outputs of those model and things. And but we would like to just complete and those final input data update and by just Q3 of 2024. And also just the testing and of a land use model, activity-based model, and the integration. There are some components still actually left, and because we are using just the activity-based model the first time ever, and so there are land use model, and there are some just the component and stitching together. Also, and as we discussed in the possible and interim, the PopTech meeting, and we'd like to just update and those outputs and intermediate and the portion and of those in the model test and the other components and on August 28th. And typically like a fourth and a Wednesday every just the even a month, and so August 28th and a Wednesday. And for 2024 Q4 and hope to just have some like a draft output of those in the land use model, activity-based model and performance measures, and you will see those in the mini and the job assignment and specific just the TAGs and by jurisdiction and also just in the housing unit and the development and the update, and more likely you're gonna just review that. But as mentioned, for those different just scenarios or other just the input data preparation procedure, and we may be in the delayed a little bit. And but that's how I just kind of a target and hoping to discuss. And also, and this is just the different item, and but we'll, as usual, we're gonna just review those in the area population estimates to see here. So I think this is the overall timeline. And do you have any questions? Okay, and for any further questions, and let me know, and then if needed, and we can set up like just a one-on-one meeting, and as just for those input data update, the modeling side, and in terms of like just understanding the portion, and also because of especially jurisdictional partner is the input data provider, and as well as just you're just the effort, and we may or may not know, and that's actually just the main portion discussion, and we'd like to just have, and then just to let us know any other questions if you have about the model, and we can actually just answer, and hopefully just through this PopTech meeting and the next time, and for those questions if needed. Okay, thank you. And if you don't have any other questions in the next agenda item. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. And so 10:48, and we adjourn in this meeting today. Thank you, and see you in August. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.